Hey everybody, Dustin Dales here at O-Comic-Con, Council Bluffs, Iowa. Don't get the name wrong, it is O-Comic-Con, one of the most fun weekends you'll ever have in Omaha, I'm telling you. And this weekend, there's all sorts of great guests that you can come check out, including, right now, I'm talking to Scott Norton. This guy, he's a wrestling legend, frankly. He's been WCW, NWO, he's been over in New Japan, and he was the champ. We're gonna talk about all that. Scott, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. It's good to be here at the old Comic-Con. Everybody come on down. It's going to be a great event. People, we'll have a good time.
Yeah, it sure is. And one of the things about you, though, that I always found fascinating is before you actually wrestled, you were more of an arm wrestler.
Yeah, that was a passion of mine growing up. And, I took it all the way to the top. I won the biggest tournament ever, and I beat a guy that's never been beat. And there really wasn't anything left for me in the arm wrestling world. And then New Japan come knocking on my door when I was on a tour, and they offered me a training contract, and 30 years later, here I am.
30 years later, you're a household name, and when you're talking about Japan, there's a lot of people know you, of course, here in America for WCW, the NWO, but Japan, I mean, you really made Japan your own. You were a two-time champ over there.
Yeah, I was very fortunate to be the only two-time champ of the IWGP championship, and that's an honor. I mean, that belt meant more to my career than just about anything in pro wrestling can, and New Japan was huge. I mean, not only did we take the NWO from WCW to New Japan, and then it just exploded there, but I've been in the right place at the right time throughout my career. To be in the NWO, to be the ace of New Japan for longer than anybody else, 16 years, was it was a lot of hard work by me, but I was very fortunate, and I got my breaks, and like Hawk would tell me, he says, they open the door, but you walk through it.
That's right.
And so, yeah, I've been fortunate. I've had a great career. I love it here. The old Comic-Con, when I get back out here doing this with all the pictures and stuff and mixed with the fans, it's a great time for me. And I really, I get in the ring a little bit now, a couple of times, 6, 8 times a year, see if I still got it. Sometimes it ain't so bad,
Yeah.
No, I do all right.
Yeah, I mean, last year you actually went back to New Japan for the Wrestle Kingdom show. You did the Royal Rumble, their version of the Royal Rumble match, and then you also did a big 10-man tag match with one of the big things in New Japan right now, the Bullet Club. How was that kind of getting back in the ring with the younger guys over there?
That was awesome. I was so impressed with that crew of guys, and it was a long time since I was back in New Japan, and I was the surprise guest, and when when the music hit, place went nuts.
Yeah.
And that was awesome.
Yeah, it's not easy making it over there in New Japan as an American, but I mean, you did it twice, and now they got Kenny Omega there. What do you kind of see in a guy like Kenny Omega making his name over there?
Well, Kenny's he's an unbelievable talent. I spoke to Kenny probably for 2 hours that day talking. He's picking my brain, and we're going back and forth. And like that particular show that day had no like King Kong Brody, Stan Hansen match. It was more the cruisers and the smaller heavyweights, and their style, what they've got going on now, is very upbeat. It's hype. It's different than our strong style was. And he picked my brain. He actually asked me if he could do a few things that I used to do.
Really?
And he says, we never want to forget where we came from, And Kenny was, you can't be more impressed with an individual than Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
He's an outstanding professional wrestler. I mean, unbelievable. And when a kid like that comes up, because I watched his match that day, and I told Kenny when he came in the locker room, I said, Kenny, if that's not the best match I've ever seen, it's right there. And I've seen some great ones, believe it. And I mean, it was, and he just kind of like, oh gosh. I said, no, Kenny, I said, that was unbelievable. Then the next day I got to work him, and that was awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Kenny Omega's really done a great job. He's iconic, man. That kid is he's not a kid no more, but
right.
He's really heading in the right direction.
Now, here in America, you were part of WCW, of course, the NWO. We got Booker T here as well this weekend. You guys tear it up much?
Oh yeah. You see, well, when Fire and Ice, we took on Harlem Heat a few times, and then I'm familiar with Booker in the ring. Booker's a stud, brother. I'm telling you what, his resume speaks for itself. I mean, that tag team, Harlem Heat, kind of quietly goes on, but when you think about it, there's not. I mean, the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors, who was, they're personal friends of mine. I grew up with them. They're the one. That's the tag team. And you got the Dudleys and you got Harlem Heat, and I really don't see the top three all time, man. And that's saying something.
Yeah, I don't see any teams better than them really either. But let's talk about this weekend. You're here in Comic-Con. You also got a book you're coming out with, right?
Yeah, it's my wrestling career from arm wrestling. Well, actually, when I grew up from a young boy, and it's a great book. It's called Scott Norton Strong Style, and we've been working on it for about 5 years. But it's awesome, and I'm so proud of the book, and it's going to be coming out later on at the end of this year. And you talk about a ride. You want to learn about this stuff and what we got to do to be a professional wrestler, and the price you have to pay. It's in the book.
Well, make sure you check that book out. Coming up later this year, and make sure you come out to Comic-Con this weekend. Scott Norton's here. You can meet him, get a picture, get an autograph, all sorts of great stuff. Pick up a great poster, all sorts of great stuff.
Look forward to see you coming out.
Scott, thanks so much for hanging out with me, man. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Take care, guys.